If you're watching this video, that means there's also a strong chance that you've been involved in an online discussion or debate in the past. Online discussions and conversations can be extremely frustrating for a number of reasons. The anonymity, misinformation, the innate nature of trolls, for example. Just about every form of discourse, there exists a policy or a procedure or a set of rules. In an ideal world, everyone would follow these rules of conduct, and online conversation would be more civil, and heck, we might even learn something from each other once in a while. After much thought on the topic, I've come up with a couple of rules I'd like to propose, and these are my 3 favorites. Number 1, know and avoid logical fallacies. A logical fallacy is a flaw in reasoning. They're compared to tricks or illusions of thought. They might sound like good points, but they lead to false conclusions. Some forms of fallacy are used so often that they've got their own names. You'll often hear politicians or political pundits using these fallacies. Basically, they're a dishonest tactic, and skilled speakers can use them to take advantage of their audiences. It's a good idea to become familiar with some logical fallacies, especially the more common ones, and keep an eye out for them. Watch out for them in the news, in the magazine articles that you read, and especially in conversations with others. If one comes up, call it out, and make sure you're not using them yourself. 2. Mind Godwin's Law. Named for Mike Godwin, an American author and attorney, Godwin's Law states that as an online discussion continues over time, the likelihood that someone will make a comparison to Hitler or Nazism approaches 1. Essentially, what that means is any online debate, if it continues long enough, eventually one debater will make a reference to Hitler or Nazism, usually referring to the opposition's argument. When this happens, per Godwin's Law, the debate should cease, and whoever made that reference has lost the debate and/or their credibility as a debater. Now, aside from the comparison itself being fallacious, see appeal to emotion. Comparisons of that nature are hyperbolic, inappropriate, and just plain lazy. There are a few exceptions, such as when debating mass murder, genocide, World War II, Nazi Germany, and a few other obvious examples, but generally speaking, let's try to avoid silly comparisons like this one. 3. Be aware of the Dunning-Kruger effect, for whatever good that'll do. The Dunning-Kruger effect is named for David Dunning and Justin Kruger of the psychology department at Cornell University. In 1999, they published the results of a series of experiments that indicated a strong cognitive bias in both highly skilled and highly unskilled individuals. Basically, unskilled individuals were found to be unable to identify how unskilled they were, and conversely, highly skilled individuals tended to underestimate how much skill was required for their accomplishments. Dunning and Kruger went on to list observable traits of the unskilled. Among other things, incompetent people will fail to recognize their own lack of skill, fail to recognize genuine skill in others, and fail to recognize the extremity of their inadequacy. Dunning himself sums it up pretty well when he says, if you're incompetent, you can't know you're incompetent. The skills you need to produce a right answer are exactly the skills you need to recognize what a right answer is. I include this one not so much because it's a rule you can follow. If you're incompetent, per the Dunning-Kruger effect, you probably don't know it. Instead, this one was included so that you remember to, in every debate you take part in, deeply consider the other position. Even Dunning and Kruger were able to demonstrate that there is a remedy for incompetence: education.